Hello everyone. This is day 5 of 30 days of sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And today we are doing another sketch by Susan Stringfellow. And they're part of the Sketch Savvy, or she is. And there was 3 photos. There's couple of mattings. They use tags, and then they use like today I want to call it looks like a scarf because there's one here and there's one here, and so you cut the papers just like you do for the big V, but you could actually use smaller pieces. But you have to make sure you have enough to come into this corner. Now, the paper that I used was full-size papers with the exception of this red. So that was the only one I had to make sure I watched how I cut it. And like this top piece is smaller than the bottom piece, so I'm using the smaller cuts, because I cut the first cut and then you get a longer piece because you get the 12 by 12. And then when you cut the next piece, it's about 1 inch narrower or 2 inches depending on how much in you cut. But remember, with the Fiskars, you can cut, you can stop, and then you can cut this way. But I just flipped it over and did it again the same way and then just met at the V. So I've already got my pieces cut, and I did put them together with temporary tape just to make sure I had it straight, and I did have to trim a little. Where when I did the other one, it was actually much easier to do the big one because then you laid it out and you only had to trim the 2 edges. This I had to lay it out, kind of watch how I did it. And so again, I'm gonna have to kind of watch what I'm doing here to make sure that I keep the same distance. Oh, and I can tell that I kind of frayed it here, and I'm sure it's just cutting 2 layers when the paper cutter probably only wants to cut 1. And this one was going to be my biggest piece, so I cut this at 2 inches, and everything else I cut at 1. And even though I want to see less of this yellow, I still cut it 1 inch because I just was kind of leery about cutting it like 1/2 inch and then having to deal with the little pieces. So I still cut it 1 inch, and now I'm just gonna cover up some of that. So, because I only want a smaller piece of that showing. So I've got, this was 1 inch, this was 2 inches, this was 1 inch, and this I just cut a V out of the paper. And I just, on my cutter, which I don't have out here, but there's lines on it, so I just kind of tested where my lines would be, like how the distance here, you kind of line this up and know that you have like 2 inches over here, or 1 inch, and mine was probably like 1.5 inches. So I just measured it, from there. So, and you'll see when you line it up on the lines how easy it is to actually line it up on the lines. But it was still a little harder than doing the other one for some reason. I don't know why. But and you could, like, if you wanted to have it a little longer, you could still do the V with the well, in my case, the pale turquoise. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna go ahead and tape that down now. Okay, and so I'm just gonna line it up here, and I did decide I'm going to put it all the way down onto my part I made like a frame. And so I'm just lining that up there, and am I gonna have like 2 inches on each side? No, okay, so I'm gonna have about 2 1/8, or it's more like 2 1/16. So that's where it's gonna be. And I need to slide it down just a little bit more. I'm kind of watching where I have it so I don't have to try to reline it. Okay. I think that's the spot. Okay. Yep, that's it. Okay. So that's that piece. And now I'm going to flip it around because I think it's just easier when it's right in front of my nose. And this is going to be the top piece, and it's a little smaller or a little shorter, but they're pretty close. Oh, and I didn't tell you what these papers were. One is Hello Summer, and the other one is A Perfect Summer. They're both by Echo Park and Lori Whitaker, or Whitlock. Okay. I think I'm going to turn around so I can kind of line it up like this. Okay. I love the dot. I mean, I think they all look pretty together, but I'm kind of really loving the dot. And I'm just watching to make sure I kind of have it centered and lined up. And I suppose you could always do it with temporary if you're concerned about putting it together, and then just kind of glue it. I mean, it was kind of nice having it temporary glued so I could kind of trim off the excess, because I did end up with a little bit of excess where I could have actually brought it down here and then trimmed it when I was all done. So that would have actually probably made it a little easier. Okay. So I'm going to do this again. And it looks like it's going to be about 2.5 from each side. Is that it? Yep, 2.5 from each side. Okay, let me get that lined up there. We had that tornado the other day. Now every company is going around looking to see if they can fix something, but I think we only had one issue that it was like the vent cover came off the side of her house. Okay, so now I would think it should be in the middle, but is it? Because it kind of looks off from here. It's not. How can that be? How can that be? Okay, now I'm confused. Okay, there's 2 1/4 inches, or 2 1/8, I mean. Here's 2 1/8. You could maybe come over a little smidgen to the right. Let me try to do that. I told you this one is harder. I don't know why. Because it's like almost the same thing. Oh, it's because we have 2. That makes it harder. Okay. So I'm doing 2 1/8. And 2 1/8. How's that? Okay, let me check this side, because that side, it's 2 1/8 from each side. Okay, did I line this up wrong? It's 2 1/2 and 2 1/2. I don't know. Maybe my triangle's a little off. You know what? I'm over it. I don't think you'll be able to tell once I get embellishments on, because then, you know, nothing is centered. Okay, so this is a scrap that my friend had. And you can see there's a little flower on it, but that's okay. I'm gonna like it knowing that there's a little flower hidden behind there. Okay, so I'm just gonna line this yellow up. I did not have any of that bright blue, and she had a scrap, so that worked perfectly, because I was trying to get all the colors in here. Oh, I don't know if I said this, but this is from his preschool, and when it got to nice weather, they would go for a little bike ride at the school, but before that they would do this. It's a, I think she said it was actually a parachute, and all the kids would go around and each of them got to take turns being in the middle, and he just loved it. And I love that face. So sweet. So now I'm going to put the red here. I told you how I'm so into, you know, having more layers of mats, and it's actually right in the sketch, so that works out. Except for I think they have 2, but I have 3. And I have 1 picture and they had 3 pictures. So we're just mixing it up a little bit. Okay. Oh, and I got it down just a little too much. Okay. And this one, it actually kind of comes over the point in the sketch. And so I'm gonna do that. Kind of comes over both points. Now let me see if I should measure it again, or just wing it. Okay, 9, so there's 3 inches here. And okay, so it's just, this should be the center. Okay, and do I got it held properly? I think I get pushing on it and I push it away. Okay, I think I'm pushing it up against that, and that's okay. It wants to be crooked. Okay, and so I'm not doing tags. I am going to do these embellishments that came with one of these, and I don't remember which one it was, but I didn't have a parachute, but I thought I could use this hot air balloon. I thought that would be adorable, and I am going to put it on some dimensionals. And hopefully these will be quick. Oh, and I'm always sliding it down too much. I hope you see me put everything down. I seen a couple days ago, it's like I totally had everything off kilter, or off the screen. It's like, oh my gosh. So annoying that I did that. I have these other dimensionals, but I don't use them when I'm filming because they take forever to get off. It's like, I don't know why they're so hard to, it's like these ones kind of have a ledge, so it's still easier to get them off. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on this side. And Good Times is actually going to be my title because that's what Aiden would say about it. And I'm going to put that right here. And this says, everything is more fun together. This is when they were living in Washington. They are having some friends come and visit, so that'll be nice. And then I've got perfect, and I'm gonna stick that right here. I forget those are all words. I want that up there. Maybe I want it right on there. So I'm gonna take a little tiny dimensional. Oh, that one's still too big. Okay, I've got the something else. Little tiny dimensional right on the one end. Okay, and then I have this little tab in lieu of a tag, and I'm gonna stick that right over there. And I kind of like my tabs to kind of stick up a little bit, so I'm gonna kind of bend it. Stick that there. And then I am going to use my red ones, yeah. Use some of these red enamel dots. And stick a couple up here. Or 3, because I got 2 things there, so I want 3. And then I'm gonna stick 2 down here, as long as I can pop them off here. And then I'm gonna stick 3 right between the tab and the Good Times. So you kind of bring your eye down to this area. Okay, and this is day number 5. Oh, yesterday I said it was day number 4 or day number 3, but it was day number 4. So thank you for watching, and I will have close-ups at the end. Remember, if you like it, give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.